Part 23, being laid off as a senior software engineer, and I'm doing 5 things to prepare for my Amazon final interview loop to improve my coding round performance. I've done a lot of reflection, and coding round I still do think is my greatest area for potential improvement if I invest practice time. I feel really solid on system design and behavioral. With coding rounds, although I feel competent at the medium level, there's a chance I get a hard, there's a chance I get a medium from a strange problem type, and then also working with that time constraint. All of these add together to make this my felt greatest area for potential improvement. And so 4 of these things that I'm doing are new, and 1 of them I've been doing. I want to preface and caveat that I don't recommend this for everyone. I am well into the area of diminishing marginal return when you think about an investment. These things that I'm doing, you could consider them micro-optimizations. I'm reaching for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% improvement, whatever I can get. When you're trying to crack FANG, these high expense, high effort investments become justifiable because the reward is so great. So I'm going for SDE 3, so you can imagine that even thousands of dollars is like a no-brainer for me if it improves my chance even 1%. That doesn't mean that I recommend it for you. So I think if you view the past 22 videos, there's been plenty of ground covered that will cover your tier 2 and tier 3 very well. You'll be able to get a job already. I've already gotten multiple offers. But if you're trying to crack FANG, sometimes you need to reach that next level, and it can be really, really hard. So if you feel that you're getting into diminishing marginal returns, and if you feel that you're putting a lot of effort for a small improvement, yes, that's how you get into FANG. That's exactly what we're doing. So the first thing is I'm doing less social media. I'm streaming less and I'm consuming less, and I'm also consuming less media whole stop, movies and everything, less games, less music. And all those things are sources of enjoyment for me. So what I'm doing right now, I consider it unsustainable. I don't think this is a way that you can live in the long term. But if you're grinding and if you're trying to sharpen up for a FANG interview, maybe it's something that we can do for a month or so, right? So what I noticed is that when I watched shows, when I listened to music, when I played games, there was a small effect where I would be thinking about those sometimes. And so this might only take up an hour of time a day or something like that, but there's an opportunity cost where that's an hour of time that I could be thinking about coding, and specifically interview coding, data structures and algorithms. And so I have just stopped doing that. It's reduced the sort of mental noise and potential distraction, not just audible external noise like while I'm coding, but even the background mental noise where I could be doing nothing, and where is my mind drawn? Now I see my mind is actually drawn towards coding. So I end up thinking about the coding more. With streaming, it was becoming an excuse to take longer to implement my LeetCode solutions. So I would do a medium problem. This medium problem should take me 10 or 20 minutes, and it would be taking me 40, 50, 60 minutes because I would be breaking up my implementation, interacting with the audience. And I felt that this was fine and justifiable, and maybe it is, but what I can say is that by removing that, I have been able to just do a lot more problems, which is really, really helpful. So I've really been able to up my volume like 5 times more. And so previously I would do 1 or 2 LeetCode problems a day, 5 days a week. And now I'm doing like 4 to 5 times more than that. And there is not much head knowledge that I'm gaining, to be honest with you. What it's doing now is it's building a muscle memory. And this is still useful in the interview because your implementation time goes way down. And it's true that you actually don't know much more, but it's also true that your interview performance is going to skyrocket if you build this muscle memory. So I'm not really having to think about, oh, this is an interesting problem, like how should I structure my loop? I'm just writing for-in range putting the variable name. If you know what that means, great. It's becoming a muscle memory, and things that would have taken maybe a minute are now like 10 seconds. And so it's not like I can do all of the problems 6 times faster, which would be nice. But if you can get bits that you do 6 times faster, they add up, right? Freeing up my time, getting through just a larger volume of LeetCode problems, part of this is paying for childcare. And so I had been telling myself I can study, I can do the job search and take care of my kids who are home for the summer. And I had been doing that, and that got me to the point where I got some tier 2 and tier 3 offers. But I am feeling an opportunity to invest in childcare to free up time. And so I'll let you know how it goes. We'll find out whether or not I pass. But it's an example of these high cost, high effort things that I'm doing to get hopefully a few percentage improvement. Speaking of high cost, here are some of the technical resources I've been using. Interview Kickstart, interviewing.io, a personal coach that I had been using even before I got laid off. And now I'm trying formation.dev. All of these in addition to the fact that I already have the laterally standard structure LeetCode Kata, and interview prep materials. So why would I be looking into these other structured methods or unstructured methods? And that's because I want to find even those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% improvements. And part of my motivation here is exploratory and research for you. So I will be paying thousands of dollars. Actually, all in all, I've paid between $20,000 and $30,000 for my interview tooling during this job search. My goal there is not for you to need to do that. My goal there is this can be a research expense for me, and then I can tell you what works, or I can integrate the bits that work for free into Laterally. So Formation.dev is one of these things. I've been there. This is my second week. I'm not doing a full review just yet. Follow for part 24, where I will do a full review. At the moment, I can say that it's helpful, and they do some things that will be improving and already are improving my coding performance. That's not an endorsement yet. That's not saying that I think it's worth the high cost, because it's not cheap. So I don't have my final thoughts yet. Follow for part 24, where I will have spent some more time with this fellowship, Formation Dev Fellowship, and I can give you some more clarified thoughts at that point. But I will say, if you're in a situation like me where money isn't really a constraint and you're really trying to, like, I'll spend thousands of dollars for a couple percentage points of improvement, I do feel comfortable saying I think it checks that box. But whether it's a good idea for the average student, to be decided. Right, so I said there were 5 things. I guess I'll just recap and clarify those because I sort of mixed them. So childcare, less social media, less media in general for me was like a different group. Formation.dev in particular, and then these other resources was a different group, and that's how you get to 5. Okay, follow for more.